She welcomed the fat drops. The musty smell of the downpour invigorated her, even as the rain soaked her clothes. A thunderclap sounded overhead, a sharp sound, followed by a low, throaty rumble she felt more than heard. Hail followed the thunder. A glance at the darkening clouds rewarded her with a bolt of lightning shattering the sky. The answering thunderclap followed a second later. The lightning was closer than was safe. She needed to get out of the weather. The moist air ahead of the storm gave way to cooler temperatures, chilling her to the bone. Time to find shelter. Lightning crackled through the air, striking a tree across the park. Smoke spiraled into the sky as the tree sizzled. Pea-sized pellets rained down from the heavily laden sky. Lightning flashed, sinking to the beat of a memory. Blinding pain when Scott struck with his belt. PTSD, the therapist said. It would fade with time, he said. Her therapist said a lot of things Melissa didn't believe. 5 bolts of lightning struck in quick succession. Resounding peals of thunder followed. It reminded her of the whoosh that preceded the strike of Scott's belt. Her heart skipped a beat, and the massive blast had her tripping over her feet. 10 years of her life wasted. She screamed her frustration into the clouds and ran as the force of Mother Nature answered her cry. The jogging path met with a road a quarter-mile down where the neighborhood park ended. She needed to get to one of the businesses on Main Street, where she could wait out the storm. Time to pick up the pace. The sky took on a greenish cast. Clouds dipped low, roiling as the storm whipped them to a froth. The wind beat at her, hail slammed into her, first from the right, then the left. It lashed out, as if unsure how to best launch its attack on her delicate flesh. Her heart rate spiked, not from running, but from the sickening hue cast in the sky. Tornadoes, while rare, weren't unheard of in the small town of Fort Walton. Melissa had never seen a tornado and didn't want to start now. She quickened her pace, muscles protesting and lungs burning. The storm raged, building around her as if feeding off her turbulent emotions. Like Scott had done too many times to count, the storm lashed out at her, furious and raw, beating her until her skin stung. She stumbled, afraid for her safety and angry she'd been foolish enough to go running during a storm. She turned onto the sidewalk that edged the tree-lined Main Street. Down the road through the sheets of driving rain, a coffee shop's open sign flashed a welcome beacon. She ducked her head and sprinted for safety. Electricity filled the air. The tiny hairs on her arms lifted. A flash of molten light burned to her left. Her skin tingled. A concussive force slammed into her as she ran. She stumbled from the sidewalk into the street, arms and legs spinning in a wild tangle of limbs. Before her head hit the blacktop, twin headlights of a black SUV blazed in her eyes. The screech of tires had Melissa cringing for an impact that never came. Her vision dimmed, and she lost her fight to stay conscious.
2. Twister. CJ. A petite brunette launched herself into the street. CJ slammed the brakes of his rented SUV, tires squealing over the wet pavement. The car's windows rattled with the storm, and his vision sparked with after-images from a lightning strike. He swerved, turning the wheel to avoid a spin. Steering through it, he tapped the brakes to regain traction. A large piece of hail landed on the front windshield, splintering the safety glass into a spiderweb of cracks. Fucking double fuck. He came to a stop and jammed the transmission into park. The woman sprawled across the pavement. Had that lightning hit her? Was she dead? No way to know unless he got out of the car. But she wasn't moving. Shit, what was that noise? Sounded like a freight train. He glanced left, peering through the sleeting rain. A funnel cloud snaked toward the ground less than half a mile away. Shit. He unbuckled and vaulted out of the car. Every nerve in his body came alive. Fear over whether the tornado would touch down and concern for the lifeless woman spiked through his veins. Thank God he'd stopped. Sprinting to the unconscious woman, he knelt at her side and felt for a pulse. A faint beat trembled against the pad of his finger. Still alive, then.